Hey, how's it going? On this episode of Home Water Dispatch, I'm on Anegada in the British Virgin Islands, northern part of the Caribbean. I'm actually here to tag some sharks, which is kind of cool, but it's not the reason for this episode of Home Water Dispatch. This episode of Home Water Dispatch, I really want to talk about ghost nets. And you might think it's kind of interesting that I'm standing in front of this giant whale. So I'm collaborating, it's a kind of multi-organizational collaboration where in terms of the shark tagging, but one of the organizations is called Beyond the Reef, and they do a lot in terms of marine conservation and education and some science, and part of one of their big initiatives is recovering ghost nets. And ghost nets are essentially commercial fishing nets that have broken away from their vessels or been discarded at sea, and they drift around the oceans and they indiscriminately kill things. They are super destructive in terms of entanglement of marine mammals. They will, capture, collect fish. Seabirds will get tangled, and they can't get out. And so there's a lot of death and destruction related to these drift nets. These drift nets also wash up on precious places like coral reefs. Sorry if this is a little loud, but there's a Christmas ceremony behind me. I'll tell you about that in a second. So drift nets can cause a lot of habitat destruction. They can cause a lot of immediate death and mortality. So there's a car blinding me right now. And there's a lot of organizations out there that are trying to recover these nets, right? And it's a big effort. So. But I really want to highlight Beyond the Reef. They've been around for a few years and really gaining momentum and spending a lot of time focusing on recovery of these ghost nets. And I think, if I remember correctly, in 2023, it was like over or close to 25,000 pounds of ghost nets they've recovered from Anegada and the surrounding waters. Anegada is not a big island, but because of the currents and because of the reef structures that these nets just wash up, they get tangled. And they also have a part of their program is monitoring marine mammals, and marine mammal entanglement is pretty bad when it comes to ghost nets. And so we really need to think about the other negative benefits or other negative effects, of commercial fishing, right? It's not just the over harvest of fish or bottom trawling. We won't even get to bottom trawling now, which has, destruction of benthos and things like that. But in this particular case, just focusing on these nets that drift around the ocean that indiscriminately kill things. And a lot of the nets that are recovered are actually reusable, right? There are companies out there that are taking the nets and recycling them, turning them into clothing and other products as a way to obviously close the waste stream and reuse these nylon nets and really nasty nets, but also to raise awareness for this really serious issue. It's something that we need to think about from a policy perspective. It's something that we need to do more in terms of educating local communities so that they can be stronger advocates against the ghost nets that basically are floating around. And so it's a bit of a challenge. It's a big issue, but sometimes it starts with a really important message like this one. So this whale, it's actually pretty big. It's on like a flatbed truck. Inside are all these recovered nets, and they use it as a way around the British Virgin Islands to introduce kids to the issue of ghost nets. And so it's really touched my heart. It's a pretty amazing initiative. And like I said, I'm not here because of the ghost nets. I'm here to tag sharks, but I also wanted to highlight this because I do cover ghost nets in one of my lectures at UMass. I'm going to turn this around and show you. I'm also here. This is the lighting of the Christmas tree in the main traffic circle. here at Anegada, which has been pretty special to come here to celebrate, being from this island and the cultural heritage and the festive season. Anyway, I'm going to keep this one short because it's also getting louder and the bugs have come out. So anyway, thanks for watching this episode of Home Water Dispatch, and yeah, we'll stay tuned for more. Bye.